Okay, so hi everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Y Tu Novio. Last week we had my first duo with us. So we had a married couple, Shiloh and Josh, with us, which is a very intimate and special episode because we talked about what it's like being married in your 20s. And, marriage or being in a partnership with someone is not for everyone, but if you are considering either being married or being in a partnership union, check out that episode. It is going to be linked below. However, for this week, we have another special duo. I don't know. I feel like we're just getting a lot of duos this week, but this week we have my first duo and first parents. So we have Liz and Oscar with us with their twin boys, which I'm really excited to introduce. So hi guys, how are you guys doing?
Hello, we're doing good.
Good. So
Feeding the babies.
Yes.
Oh, you're getting talking to papas.
This week's episode is titled The Truth About Having a Baby. Obviously, having children. I feel like you guys are like, right now, this is the truth. You know what I mean? You see Instagram or like baby magazines and they always show like picture perfect, but I feel like this right here is truth. It's real. Like you having your kids. Off camera, they had some drinks. This is all the truth. But I wanted to, start off by maybe if you want to walk us through it, like how did you guys meet and how did y'all find out y'all were expecting?
Okay, well, I'll start off with the story on how we met because I remember it more clearly because somebody over here was a little bit intoxicated. But we met at at least it's my favorite bar. It's called Funky's. It's in downtown San Diego. So I wasn't supposed to go out that night because I had just come from work and I really didn't feel like it, but my friends convinced me to. And he wasn't even supposed to be at that bar when he had a fractured foot and he was on a scooter. So he shouldn't even have been out in the first place. And he was on a cruise ship, so his friends like convinced him to head over to the bar after the cruise ship. So, I was over here dancing with my friends, living my best life. And then I see someone like roll into the club with a little scooter. And I'm just like, oh my God, like, who is that? Like, why is he even here? First of all, like, he has a broken foot. Why is he in the club? And so
he literally was rolling, right? Like,
yeah, like he literally was rolling into the club. And so, I saw him around and, I was trying to like get his attention, but no, he didn't. He wasn't looking at me. He wasn't making any eye contact. So,
so she thought.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I was just like, whatever. I ran into him in the bathroom and we had like a little conversation. But then, some other girls swooped in and caught his attention instead. So I was like, deuces, like, whatever, I'm out. He didn't pick me. So, I just did whatever. I was with my friends. And then somehow, like, we ended up, like, getting closer to each other in the little dance area.
Yeah.
And then he finally we both made eye contact with each other. And then that's when he was like, come here. And I was like, oh, my God. Okay. I'm
that's
like,
a lot of confidence. That's a lot of confidence.
Yeah. I was
in the scooter.
Yeah. And I was all looking around, like making sure that he was talking to me because I was just like, okay. And then the first thing that he says was just like, just because I'm on a scooter doesn't mean I can't dance. And then I was like, wow, he got confidence. So I ended up dancing with him. And then after that, he asked for my number. And then, we met up after and such, And then after that, we just were texting each other like nonstop. And yeah, that's how we met. And then we just hung out pretty often after that.
And well,
do you want to say? Yeah.
And well, as soon as we like literally started talking, like we just connected. Like, like we weren't shy. Like, we didn't judge each other. It was just we would talk about random things and like, like you could talk about anything and we wouldn't get bored.
It was an instant connection.
Yeah, like we felt like we knew each other for a while, which is I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you guys believe in love at first sight or something like that, but it does happen,
Yeah.
And then when I was like talking to her and just like every day, it was just like, damn, like it's crazy. It's crazy. Like how you could like just meet someone and just connect so fast.
Yeah.
So it was awesome. Yeah.
Right. And I think it's honestly like it is the story in itself, it's like, whoa, like how did that happen? Because you guys probably weren't even supposed to be there. You guys just decided like instantly, like, you know what, I'm gonna go out, fuck it.
Yeah.
Like I'm here.
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, like we were just I was like I went out to a cruise with my friends and my cousin, and from there it was me actually who said let's go to Funky's.
Oh, really?
It was me.
Wow.
I don't know, I was just feeling good that night. I was feeling really good because I was low-key sad because I had a broken foot and fractured foot, and I couldn't really do much. I could just stay at home and couldn't do much for myself. You know, I had to be in a scooter, and like I took it for granted. So I was like, you know what, I'm going out, having fun, whatever. And then it turned out to be probably the best day of my life, just because we met and we had these beautiful babies.
Yeah. Well, we didn't have them that night.
Oh, of course, not that night.
People are probably wondering, like, is that the day that they
No.
This was it 2019?
29
right?
August.
August.
No,
yeah.
August.
I remember the exact date. It was August 3rd, 2019.
Dang. So this was like before the pandemic. So
yeah.
And how did it happen that, moving on, fast forwarding, you guys were connecting, vibing? Like, how was the expecting arrival like story? Like, how did you find out that y'all were expecting?
Well,
should we tell them how everything really happened, or you don't want to tell them like how the first time and?
Well, yeah. So the first time, so I got pregnant twice. First time didn't happen. I ended up having a early miscarriage.
I remember it was like 2 days after, 2 or 3 days after Valentine's Day.
Yeah. After Valentine's Day. So I ended up going to the hospital because I had really bad back pain and I started bleeding a lot. So yeah, I ended up having a miscarriage with that, but literally maybe even like less than a month, right?
Yeah, but the thing, bro, remember the first time you had like severe like nausea too?
Yeah. So probably like a month later, I ended up starting to get like symptoms of really a month of really strong like nausea and just feeling like I needed to throw up all the time. And I was only like 3 days late on my period. So I was like, oh, like sometimes it happens where I start off a little bit late, but most of the time my dates were always set. So like I would always get them on the 17th or the 18th. And that time, like I didn't get anything. So I didn't tell him anything. I mean, I told him how I was feeling.
But remember the first time you felt the same way?
Yeah.
So we already had, I had a feeling like when it happened again, like they were feeling nauseous.
Yeah.
I had a feeling like, in my head, I was like, she's probably pregnant, but I was like, maybe it can't be true because like she just had like an early miscarriage and like I don't feel like you can just get pregnant at 2 weeks or so.
Yeah.
So,
no, I feel like it's true. Like people kind of like, not because you're a man, but sometimes when it comes to like pregnancy, people don't really put into consideration men. And the fact that sometimes you guys do also get instinct like, oh shit, maybe my partner is pregnant,
Yeah.
Like, so it's true.
I had a feeling, but she didn't, like, she was scared.
I was in denial just because of what happened the first time.
Because we were really happy the first time. The first time she surprised me.
Yeah.
The first time she surprised me, and we were really happy, Yeah. And then we were like, we were down. Well, it was mostly her that she was really down because I get it, it's her body. And I was just trying to like support her. So after that, we were just if it happens again. Yeah. If it doesn't, well, it's okay. Like, it wasn't planned, but it wasn't like, if it does, like, what are we gonna do? No, it was more like if it happens, we're excited and we're gonna be, because we both like, you know what? I see myself with you. Like, I see myself with you in the future. Like, you're just the one.
Yeah.
Right.
And when it happened again, she didn't want to believe it, so she didn't take the test. But tell her how impatient you are.
Oh yeah. Well, first, before I even told him that I was pregnant, the first person that I was talking to about it was my cousin. I was just telling her how I was feeling, and she was just like, oh, I think you should just take a pregnancy test, just, to make sure, and just to get out of your mind if it's like not it. So I was like, okay, you're right. So I took it. I was on video chat with her while I was taking it. And this was when I was living in my apartment on my own. And when I saw the test, the line, it was a blue test. The line was like super, super, super like blue. So I was like, oh snap. Yeah, but I was like, no, like it's a mistake. So I went to the store again, and I went to go buy the clear blue pregnancy test, like the digital ones. So it was straight up say like not pregnant or pregnant. So I took that one, and it said,
Liz was like, I need it out in writing.
Yeah, and then it said pregnant, and I was just like, oh my God.
Did it fast, or did it take a while? It took a while.
It loads pretty quick. But yeah.
But with the double lines, it was super fast.
Yeah, it was fast. So yeah, then I was pregnant, and so I was like, I'm gonna wait to tell him. But I literally could not wait. I think I waited like 30 minutes, and then I called him, and then I was just like, hey babe. He's like, what's up? I'm like, I have something to tell you. And he like already knew, like I didn't even have to tell him. He's like, what? I'm like, guess what? He's like, you're pregnant. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, I'm pregnant.
I was getting off of work.
Yeah, and then I finally sent him the picture. of the test. So it was real.
It was real.
Yeah.
That one, I feel like that time, the second time, it was just more like, we were just more like, we were excited, of course, but at the same time, we were kind of like, like, let's wait to see what happens, because you have to wait 3 months, So we were kind of like still a little broken from the first one, like, like we were like, let's not get too excited yet, but we were excited.
Yeah.
But it was like this little fear you have, but yeah, and then from there.
Yeah.
No, I mean, Liz, thank you for sharing. I know you didn't have to, but thank you for feeling comfortable for sharing, and you too, Oscar, because you were obviously there with her. But that is something
it's
that
part of the journey.
Talk about. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like things, like I told you, things happen for a reason. Maybe the first one didn't happen because the second one, God decided to give us 2.
Right. Yeah. So I know you guys mentioned that you were excited, but you were like, let's hold off. So for people watching, like you said, it does take about 3 months for you to be out of the kind of like danger zone.
Yeah.
So after 3 months, you're pregnant. You're like, oh my gosh, like I'm pregnant. Kind of walk us through too. Like you were pregnant during the coronavirus. Yeah. What were you thinking? Like, what was going through your mind? Like, oh my God, like I'm pregnant, but also there's a pandemic going on. Like, how did you plan out your pregnancy? And like, also maybe if you want to kind of share like some of the complications you were having.
Yeah. So I found out I was pregnant late March, and everything was fine in the beginning. I had like mild morning sickness and all that stuff. But it started getting really, well, before I even get into that, I didn't really think about the pandemic, to be honest. Like it just didn't cross my mind because at that point, I thought it was going to be over in like a couple months just because of the way that the media was making it seem, how it was just going to be like a short-term thing and everything would be back to normal by the summer. So like I wasn't thinking like, oh my God, like, this is going to affect how we have our babies. And so I wasn't thinking about that. But yeah, then it started off with mild morning sickness. And then it started turning into, so I would throw up like maybe 3 times in the morning and I'd be okay. But then it started turning into throwing up from 10 to like 20 times a day. And to me, since obviously I was never pregnant before to that extent, besides the first time, obviously. But I thought it was normal. I thought it was like, okay, this is just morning sickness.
But I told you.
Yeah. But he was doing research and he found out about hyperemesis, which is what I was later diagnosed with. And it only affects 2% of women, so it's very rare. But yeah, it's just like, it's not morning sickness. It's like way more severe than that. You can get really dehydrated. You throw up like excessively. And that's what I ended up having. And I ended up landing in the hospital, I think, when I was around 12 weeks. And in the beginning, I only knew I was having one baby. So so I was only expecting one, like that was it. So once I was in the hospital, they were doing ultrasounds to check like what was wrong with me, like why I was throwing up so much, why I was so dehydrated. And when they were doing the ultrasound, the doctor was just like, okay, like I see your baby right here. And I'm just like, oh, okay. She's like, everything looks fine. And she's like, let me just check a little bit more. So she's like going with the little thing, and then she goes a little bit lower, and she's just like, wait, I see something. And in my head, in my head, I didn't even think like, oh, there's a second baby. Like to me, I was just like, oh snap, like something's wrong. Like maybe I have a tumor or something, or I don't know what. And then she's just like, oh, she's like, there's another one in there. And I was just
oh
like,
my
God. I was like, oh my God. I literally, like, the first thing I did, I was just like this. I had my hand on my forehead. And I was just like, no. And I wasn't like, no, like, oh my God. But it was just like, oh, snap. Like, I was not expecting,
Right. And people, like, if they just tuned in, our guest Liz, she herself is a twin. So the fact that she had twins, I'm not even sure about the statistics of how rare that is, but like I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah, exactly.
And same type of twin too.
Yeah, so they're identical twins. I'm an identical twin. But yeah, I spent most of my pregnancy in the hospital because of the hyperemesis.
During COVID.
I lost 20 pounds in like less than 2 weeks. I wasn't eating anything. I wasn't drinking anything. I literally had to be on IV like 24/7.
She would throw up water.
Yeah, I couldn't even drink water. And then I had a PICC line on my arm just because of how sick and how often I needed to go to the doctor. Instead of getting poked every single time, I just had like basically like an IV in my arm. So all they would have to do is just connect the tubes and that's it. So it would run from my arm all the way to my heart. That's where I would get the fluids. That's where I would get my medicine. And yeah, so I would do IVs at home. I would not inject myself. It's called flushing. You would insert the medicine on my own. When I was really, really sick, Oscar would help me do that because I was so sick that I couldn't even do it on my own.
For Oscar,
almost a certified nurse.
No, that's true. So like how are you able to be a supportive partner for her during the time that I'm guessing she was honestly living in the hospital? Like what roles did you have to take on to kind of like help her during this period of time that she's going through?
So for me, the whole thing, it was a lot because we also decided to move into our place during the whole COVID situation.
Oh, yeah.
So we had to like move all her stuff and my stuff into this place. And then at the same time, I was still working. And then after that, before that, I couldn't even go in the hospital.
Yeah.
Before that, they would not let me go in till probably June when you were like, that was the time where you like actually like we were super bad.
Yeah.
Like she was really bad where like she looked so bad. No, you're beautiful, but you know what I mean. Like it was just like really bad. Like it was scary. And in June, and a week before we moved in. I was there the whole week.
Yeah.
I stayed with her the whole week. It was either me or her mom. And I was like, I told her mom, you know what, I want to stay. I'm the father of the children and I'm her partner and I'm literally going to be spending the rest of my life with her, Yeah. And she understood too. Like, of course she wanted to stay. It's her mom, but she understood that the best decision was for me to stay. And I stayed there for the whole week, helping her out. I couldn't do much either way.
Yeah.
Because, she was just in pain. But I was there. Whatever she needed, I was there. I was up I would be up at night. I wouldn't sleep much either. Just trying to make sure she was fine.
Yeah. And we would get woken up every 2 hours because that's how often I needed my medication.
Every 2 hours she needed medications just to
not throw up.
To stay hydrated, basically.
Yeah.
So
I feel like honestly, like sorry, but I feel like this is something that I feel like, you know, like you said, this is something that happens to 2% of people or women that are carrying children. So the fact that you had a supportive partner with you to go through it, I feel like that's honestly really helpful, probably for your peace of mind. And then also like, you know, being pregnant during this time, like that is insane. But I also wanted to talk about, because both of you are Latino, how do you all feel about raising, you know, Latino children and being Latino as well?
Yeah. Oh, there we go. What happened?
Sorry. We had some technical difficulties. So let them get settled in.
Look at me. Sorry, it's getting hot in here, girl. Oh my god, this beer's kicking in.
No, but I was saying like this, honestly, like this is the truth about having children. Like I feel like people don't go really into like all of the hardships that they go through, whether it's like the medical or moving, because obviously, like, you know, when you have children, you make that decision also to live together if that's a thing, or you co-parent if you guys are not together.
Yeah.
But the fact that y'all went through, you know, a move, the pandemic, having kids, the birth, it's a lot. So do you guys think also like, well, not because you guys are both Latino, but do you think that's something that you bond with because both of you are Latino, you guys have Latino parents, you're having Latino children? How does that kind of play into the way you are raising your family?
Well, before I answer that question, I do want to add, there was a point where we both did not want to go through the pregnancy anymore because of how hard it got. And just
not because we didn't want them.
Yeah, not because we didn't want them, but just because of how hard it was and how sick I got. But it was more like, I guess people don't talk about how hard pregnancy can be and like the complications that could happen. Right. And to us, like, you know, we thought pregnancy was just going to be like cravings, you know, a little bit of morning sickness, being tired, and, you know, feet swelling. That was it.
Literally, we did not enjoy pregnancy. We did not enjoy pregnancy.
Yeah, we didn't have, I mean, we did have a photo shoot, but
one day and went back to the hospital.
But literally the next day I was back in the hospital. I didn't have a baby shower. I did have a baby shower, but I wasn't able to join it because I was in the hospital, and neither was he because he was in the hospital with me. So I wasn't.
We lived at the hospital.
Yeah, we lived in the hospital, and it I mean, it just wasn't a normal pregnancy, and besides being on quarantine also, I mean, it just added to that too, because I was locked. Yeah, it was depressing because I was locked in a room for a long time, like, and I was only allowed 2 visitors, 1 per day, and obviously they're not going to stay with me the whole day. But
I mean, I could if I would, but I had to work, and after work I would literally just come home, shower, and go to the hospital, and then the next day her mom would go, and then I have to wait another day to go back. So yeah, it was pretty tough. I didn't get to enjoy the belly as much, you know, like, but when I was there I would, you know, and she sometimes just didn't feel connected sometimes, you know, to the whole pregnancy, just because the sickness was so bad. Like she said, a lot of people don't talk about how, like, the hardships of pregnancy when it comes to like being pregnant, and not a lot of people know about hyperemesis. If like, you know, like at school they don't teach you that, like, or in sexual education or anything like that, they don't tell you how bad it is.
And it was also a thing that we didn't understand either in the first place, because there is no cure for it. You basically just have to deal with it.
Well, I feel like I understood.
No, like in the beginning we both didn't know what was going on, but then after, like, me and him became very informed. However, my side of the family was just very well, you know how like Latino parents can be just very traditional and like very overprotective, and, you know, I know I've been pregnant before, so I know what's right, what works, you know, you have to listen to me. and those kind of things. So that created a lot of issues between, you know, Oscar and my family, because it was just more like, oh, I'm right, you're not right. And
like they felt like I was giving up on her when literally I told them like I can't do anything about it. Only thing I can do is be here and cheer her on and support her. Like I can't make her feel better. Like, and that's no one can make her feel better.
That's really all anybody could do.
Yeah. And they felt like she was like not faking it, but like
that I could control
like she could control it, just like, oh, just like relax, breathe, like
take a deep breath, you'll stop throwing
after a while they kind of understood though. It took a while for them
basically I think almost until the end of my pregnancy is when they were finally like, okay, like, yeah, we get it, you know, this is something that, you know, you can't control. Girl, everybody would be like, eat some ginger, eat some crackers. I'm like, I can't even drink water.
Like, her mom would be like, oh, I know these pills that will help you.
Yeah, she'd be like, we need to go get a doctor from Mexico. Like, they're going to help you. I'm like, oh my God. Like,
no, honestly, I feel like Latino parents, they do kind of like tell you that because they're like, oh, tú no sabes. Like, I had like 2 kids, you know, like, you don't know. This is your first time. So, like, the fact that, you know, you're bringing awareness to this for the condition that you had, because, you know, 2% of women, like, that's very low, but like, you know, you were a part of that 2%. And then also like just the difficulties, because not only are you going through it with your body, but like, you know, it does affect your health, your body,
mental
health, like being pregnant, it's a whole body experience for the person, you know, carrying the children, and then also for the partner, because I mean, for Oscar, obviously, you probably wanted to help her, but you're like, I can't, you know, physically make you feel better. So.
It's frustrating. It's frustrating. That's why. That's like how she said we almost gave up, because there was like literally like there was one day I couldn't take it anymore. Like seeing her so like, but I was just in that mindset. I think I was just really tired because of like how like all the nights we stayed up. Like I was tired, so my brain wasn't functioning correctly. Because every day I would be like, no, you know, we're gonna get to this. And then that day I was just like, I was
like
out
the
of
breaking point, right?
Yeah, and then but then we slept on it. The doctor's like, think about it.
Yeah. We
slept on it, and then the next morning I was like, babe, I'm sorry. Like, what was I thinking? Like, no, like I'm sorry for like putting that in your head, because I know if I give up, you're gonna give up. So like the next morning I was like, you know what? No, babe, I'm sorry for telling you that. Like I wasn't thinking right. And then from then on, we just like, we're keeping the babies, you know, and everything's going to be fine.
Yeah. And to add to hyperemesis, I also got another condition called cholestasis. Yeah, which is only in
girl, you're getting all the conditions.
Yeah, she literally got every symptom.
Yeah, and then that one is like only 10% of women in pregnancy get that. And guess who got it? This girl right here. So I got that, which is basically like a condition where your liver starts producing these enzymes that make your skin really, really itchy.
And you can't see anything on your skin.
Yeah, like there's no rash, nothing. It's just your skin is just itchy, mostly the palms of your hands and your feet, which is what I had. And it also you need to deliver your babies earlier, so before 36 weeks or before, just because that can actually harm the babies, because they can end up swallowing what the liver is releasing, and you know, could potentially, you know, kill them. So yeah, girl, another thing I had to deal with.
No, honestly, like this is just a lot of information, especially for people that, you know, are considering children. Like it is a gamble, because every body is different. Exactly. But I'm so glad that, you know, you guys had that communication and you thought it over, because it worked for you, right? Like you as a couple. So, you know, once y'all decided, let's have these children, like I want to be your baby daddy, I want to be your baby, you know, once that was established, like, let's do it. How was it like when the day where you were like, oh snap, like today's the day I'm delivering these children? Like, how did the doctor tell you, like, okay, Liz, like we're gonna have to, you know, deliver the children?
Well, so basically once I got diagnosed with the cholestasis, that's when they were like, oh, you're gonna deliver at 36 weeks. And so I already had the exact date when I was gonna have them. So I already knew. It wasn't like, a surprise like most pregnancies where it's like, oh, you know, I don't know when it's gonna come, and you know it's gonna come around this time. But no, I already had the exact date. And so he stayed with me. I asked him to stay with me that weekend before. So my surgery was on a Monday, and I asked him to stay since I think it was Saturday.
Friday or Saturday?
Friday or Saturday, because I just wanted him there already. Like,
yeah.
Oh,
you're like, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, and so yeah.
Well, because your mom was supposed to stay like a night so she could be with you.
Yeah, but I just wanted him there already because I was just nervous. And and during the weekend, they had a lot of people talk to me to get me prepared on what to expect with the surgery and how the spinal tap was gonna work and all that stuff.
The spinal what?
Spinal tap. So it's like, I guess, I don't know if it's different than an epidural or something, but it's basically just an injection they put on your back, and it numbs your legs so you don't move. And yeah, from under your boobs all the way down to your feet, it numbs you, so that way when they cut you open you don't feel anything. So the morning of my surgery was at 8 a.m. right?
Yeah,
8 a.m.
8 a.m.
And they started prepping me around
like 7:30.
7 a.m.
7.
7 a.m.
So you were up early that day.
Well, we actually woke up earlier
Like
than
4 or
that.
5 in the
like
morning.
4 or 5 in the morning because we were so nervous.
I was sweating.
Oh my God.
I had to go pee like I don't know how many times, and I had bubble guts. Like
we had a little bit of diarrhea.
Oh my God, it was crazy. Like I thought I was so prepared. I was like, nah, I got this. But then as soon as it hit like 5, as soon as like the clock was getting closer and closer to 8, I was sweating. She was laughing at me. She's like, "Oh my God, like why are you so nervous?" I was like,
right, I
think
was
you're
like,
more
Liz should be nervous.
Yeah, but no, once I was in the wheelchair and they were rolling me, that's when it hit me, and I'm just like, oh my God, like they're gonna cut me open. But in that moment, it didn't hit me until, because the first part, you're by yourself. They don't let your partner in when they're prepping you. So when they're giving you the shot in your back, you're by yourself. So then that's when I was like, oh my God, like I don't want to do this. Like, I wish I was asleep for this. Like, I don't want to be awake. So, like, I wanted him there to hold my hand. But, I mean, I did have a nurse holding my hand while I was getting the shot.
Yeah.
But it's like you go into the room. It's so bright. The lights are really bright. It's so cold in there. Like, they had music playing, which kind of made it creepy. Like, you know, those shows where people are going to get murdered and they have like music playing in the background. I'm just oh my God. Like, I'm getting a surgery and they're putting music on. Like, if this is a natural thing.
I'm like, can I have Bad Bunny in the background?
I know. I'm like, they don't even let me pick the music. I'm like, if I'm going to die, let me die listening to Bad Bunny at least. But yeah, then he was able to come in. And when he came in, they started like slicing me up like ASAP. And the only thing I felt with the spinal tap was I got like a huge headache. And after that, I didn't feel anything. Like I didn't feel any pain. It was just more like tugging and pulling. And the babies came out. And
at 8:18
and 8:19.
And 8:19.
Wow, literally like back to back.
Yeah, and the feeling of like hearing their cries and seeing them, it's unexplainable. It's unexplainable. Like, but
it's like you just feel it.
It's just a different kind of love. Like I've never felt that type of emotion, and I'm probably never gonna feel it again. But it was just, we both cried. Like I've never had happy tears ever.
Yeah,
that was like the first time I had happy tears, and in that moment, I was just like, everything that I went through was worth it. Was worth it. Once I saw their faces.
They're a little cute.
Yeah.
So who came out first?
Gabriel.
He's asleep right now. Yeah, Gabriel came out first, and then Uriel came out next.
Wow. So you guys are now parents. You know, fast forward to now, because the babies have been like, you know, being babies for a while now. Like, fast forward to now, like, how are you guys adjusting to being parents, and what are some tips that you would give to new parents that you guys both learned, you know, because you guys have been parents for a while now. So what are some tips y'all want to offer people that have children?
Well, one thing, our babies were premature and we didn't get to take them home. We didn't get to take them home the first 2 weeks. They were in the NICU. So
like an ICU for babies.
And so that was a hard thing that we didn't even think about before delivery. Like we just thought we were gonna have our baby and that was gonna be it. But no, and then
but it helped us a lot.
Yeah, it did help us in the way where the nurses like taught us a couple things. But before that, another thing that they don't tell you about pregnancy for the women is the postpartum effects that can happen to you. And to me, the night after my C-section, I got my first panic attack ever in my life. And that was the scariest thing I've ever gone through, just because I've never experienced anything like that. And for anyone who has like anxiety and panic attacks, it's just like, oh my God, I don't know how people can deal with it.
Right.
But basically, like, I just felt like I couldn't breathe. Like my body was shaking uncontrollably. And I thought I was going to die because I thought it was like something going wrong with what had happened with the surgery. And Oscar was just trying to make me feel better. But I could tell, like, looking at him, I knew he was scared. And then looking at all the nurses in the room that ran in there trying to figure out. Yeah, like 10 nurses trying to figure out what was wrong with me. It made me even more scared. And to me, I was just like, oh my God, like I'm gonna die. Like this is it. Like I don't know what's going on with my body. I have no control over my breathing. I have no control over my body shaking. But yeah, I ended up getting another panic attack the next day. And then after that I was fine. But then I was like talking to a therapist and everything like that. So I do have very high anxiety. I did get the baby blues after my pregnancy. So I was really emotional. I was crying for everything. I was a little bit depressed and I did feel a little disconnected from my babies in the beginning. And from Oscar too. That's something that people don't talk about either, that I don't know, I just felt like I didn't want to be around him. I didn't want him to touch me. Like I didn't want to talk to him. Like I just wanted to be by myself. And I just wanted to sleep. Like that's it. And I didn't know. I'm just like in my head, I'm just like, oh my God, like I don't know why I'm like this. I don't know what's wrong with me. And I didn't tell anyone just because I didn't want people to think I didn't love my babies. And I didn't tell him because I didn't want him to think I didn't love him or that I didn't be with him. But yeah, those are things that, people don't really talk about. They don't tell you like, oh, you might feel this way towards your partner. You might feel this way towards your babies. And you might have anxiety. Anxiety is the one thing that I had no idea that you could get after pregnancy. And you can also get PTSD from pregnancy as well.
Right. No, I feel like people, like you said, they don't talk about that. Like after postpartum things that you go through after, where they think like, oh, I have the babies, I go home, now I have like this happy life and stuff. Like it really is, steps that you have to take. And obviously for both of you, like, when did it start, I guess, in a way, feeling more normal from everything?
It took
I think barely. Honestly, we even had to talk about it like not too long ago. Yeah, it's just barely starting. Yeah, it's barely starting.
I'm doing air quotes because I'm like, what is normal? For people.
Well, it's getting better. It's not things like necessarily. Things will never get back to normal.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like you're never gonna have the life you had when you were like single. You could say like just you and your partner. It's a different life. So things are getting better. We talked about it because I would say we both had a lot of feelings inside that we wanted to express, but we didn't want to bring it up because we just didn't want the other person to worry. That's how I felt. Right. But I feel like things are getting better. Yeah, we've connected more. We connected back again because of how she said how she was feeling, and it's stressful too. Like we both have really important roles in this. Like her role right now is literally like take care of the kids while I'm at work,
Right.
And then I come home and then I help her out, take care of the kids, so she, like, she can rest and shower, eat.
Right.
So yeah, pretty much. So then, like we're barely.
So then, Oscar, what are some tips that I guess you would want to give to men or to other, the opposite partners
Like,
how
to
to
both men and women, yeah, to both partners. My tips, what I've been through is if you're the wife, the woman, I would make your partner, like, make the dad, make him feel like he's doing a good job. If he really is, you know, like, you see that he's doing a good job, compliment him that he's doing a good job. Because if you don't, you're he's gonna feel like he's not being noticed. Cause like she even told me, like, she understands that not a lot of dads get noticed. It's always the mom, you know, the mom. But dads do a lot too, and not just because they go to work, but other than that, like, we do more than just work, you know. And she when I told her that, we had to talk about that, and she understood. She's like, "You're right, you know, like I do notice it, but I don't tell you like what you're doing, you know." And that's, I think that affected me. So I don't know how other guys are. Maybe some other guys are like me, you know, who want to be shown appreciated, basically, you know, because I appreciate her every day, and I tell her every day, I'm like, babe, you know, thank you for this, thank you for that, like, you're awesome. And she told me, like, yeah, you're right, like, you do tell me, and I think I need to tell you more. But from the guy's side, you have to sometimes, like, me, I'm an emotional person, so I would say, like, I got too carried away with my feelings that I was like being so, like, I was a little upset. I was upset of all this, you know. I was like, shit, like, why am I not being noticed, you know? But
Right.
don't feel like that. They are noticing, just don't feel like that. Because you might get down and you might get angry, and that's how I got, you know. And it wasn't because I didn't love her or anything, because I love her, but it was just, I felt like I didn't feel it, like they were appreciating, like, the whole thing.
Right.
But my advice is just appreciate your partner for everything they do. Not just because she's at home doesn't mean she's just doing whatever she wants. She's literally taking care of the kids. It's a full-time job, and your partner, don't think just because he's outside he's not doing anything. He's bringing in to take care of your family. Bring
home the bacon.
Right.
You know, like, he's taking care of the family. Yeah, aparte, he's helping you with the kids. Like, we literally do not have any time to do anything.
Yeah.
Unless we take the kids to our parents' house and we get
grandmas.
And if we do that, we have to clean, we have to wash, we have to buy groceries. Like, we don't have.
It's not free time
It's not free time. We have had, like, probably once or twice,
like, little dates.
like, dates, you know. But that's because, you know what, babe, let's take a rest, and, like, let's just. And that's what you need to do. And I didn't know that too. I didn't know that, like, guys or moms, give yourself time for give time for yourself. Like, don't feel guilty for giving yourself time. And I felt guilty for giving myself time. And I would get kind of upset at her because she wanted her time and I didn't.
Right.
You know? And that's not okay. Don't be like me. And I understand. No, yeah, and I understand that now.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I had to learn the hard way. And I understand that now. Like, you have to think about yourself too. Like, if you don't take care of yourself, it's gonna affect everything around you. And literally, I would take care of everything else, them, you know, everything around me, but myself. It's good and bad. It's good and bad. It's good and bad, you know, because you prioritize them first, and you yeah, and you last. Oh, you can tell them. You can give more advice.
Yeah. No, that's honestly, like, truth, facts. Because besides y'all being parents, you know, you are Liz, you are Oscar, like, you're like your own individual, right? It just so happens that you guys have children together. So it's important to be like a family, but then also have time for yourselves, and then have time for each other as a partner. Yeah. So he also brought some important points, you know, the fact that you need to have date nights if you can. And I think it's cool too that you have supportive families that can offer babysitting, you know, because not everyone has that, and babysitting is expensive if you're trying to pay people. So I think as Latino families, that's the one thing that I'm like, okay, for sure we have family members that are gonna take care of our children.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then especially right now with the whole pandemic, you don't want to leave your babies with anybody, like just anybody, you know, because you don't want your babies to get sick or anything like that. But yeah, both of our families are really supportive when it comes to, you know, if I need sleep, his mom will come over, or my mom will come over, and or if we want to go out and do something, we can leave him at his mom's or we can leave him at mine. We've only had one night away from them where we left them at my at my mom's house because, girl, we were tired. We're just like, we need like a night of just full uninterrupted sleep. So we left them at my mom's house, and I mean, you'll never feel the same no matter how much sleep you get. Like, you'll never feel like refreshed or anything like that. But I mean, you do feel a little bit better, but you know, it's nothing like before babies.
I think we're lucky to have babies that aren't that crybabies. Like, they don't wake up
they're good.
much.
They're good.
They're honestly, they're pretty good, even though they have like here like the little things like, you know, that affect them, like just like after reflux, like, you know. But other than that, like, they're pretty good babies.
Yeah.
Aww. Well, I feel like now I can ask kind of like a little bit more X-rated question because the kids are asleep.
Yeah.
So I'll be like,
they're
they won't
gone,
be hearing
girl.
what's going on. But I know someone asked, how do y'all keep, you know, the sex alive? Because with sex is how the babies came about. So how do y'all keep intimacy and your sexual lives alive?
Well, it took a long time because I had to heal for my C-section. It took 6 weeks. I had my 6-week checkup, and so you're not allowed to have sex until your checkup. But for me, it was even longer because I had an IUD placed the same day of my C-section.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, so I was not allowed to have sex, and then so once I got my 6-week checkup, my IUD wasn't in the right place, and I was still having postpartum bleeding. So they had told me not to have sex until I think maybe like 4 more weeks after that. And so then I got my IUD checked again in January, and everything was fine. The only thing was that I was still having postpartum bleeding and all that stuff. But yeah, literally, I think we went 2 months, right?
Almost 2. Yeah, literally,
2 months.
2 months.
2 months.
So basically, we're kind of easing back into it, you know, whenever we have the chance, whenever the babies are asleep.
Yeah.
Or sometimes even if they're awake,
we'll just go to the
good thing we have 2 rooms.
Yeah.
So we'll just let the babies, you know, play or like just be in the other room, and we'll just go to the room. Yeah.
No, yeah. It's important, honestly. I mean, obviously you have to heal, right? You don't want anything to get in the way, but even with intimacy, I mean, obviously sex is important, but like, do you guys make time to just do cute little things like, hey, like, do you want me to rub your back or something? Like, it doesn't have to be sexual, but like little things like that.
Honestly, we haven't. We just go to the point.
We just get straight to it, girl.
And honestly, I think we do that because we don't know when they're gonna be like, they're gonna need attention.
Yeah, so we're just.
And like, it's double, you know, like.
Right.
That's how I feel. Like, that's how I feel. Like, we have to kind of like, you know, I mean, not. You know what I mean? Like, you
I like the truth. You're like, nah.
Yeah, because. And sometimes when we are trying to, like, they'll start crying, and we have to, like,
you know, we'll be in the moment.
And then, and I'm like,
and then all you hear is wah, and like you're trying to block it out, and then you just keep hearing it, and you're just like, fudge, you know, we gotta go. We gotta do it.
It's like postponed.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's getting back there. Yeah, it's going back. It's you know, it's getting back there where she's doing a little bit better too. So. My another advice is don't lose that love for your partner, you know, because the babies will take most of your love. They will literally be the loves of your life now, but don't let it consume you. Don't forget that you started at the bottom. Now we here as I just like but yeah, don't let it consume you. Have like time for everyone. Right. Share your love, because if you don't, then the other person will feel it too, you know.
No, that's
and
true.
You don't want to lose it. You don't want to lose that feeling either.
So we're coming to the end of the episode. I know we've had a conversation, like really, really good topics and things that I think people that are either considering having kids or if they're already having kids, they could maybe learn something from y'all. Because I know for a fact, I want to have kids. I mean, I don't know if I'm blessed with like the twins thing because I don't have really any twins in my family, but I feel like that's the ultimate like package. Like you get 2. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like you're good.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted 2 children, you're good.
Exactly.
So who knows? But
Well, it's the first time in my family, actually, twins. First time in family.
Ooh.
Yeah, first generation in my family, yeah, to have twins. Just had
Nice.
to throw that in.
No, yeah, it's important. I definitely feel it. But before we leave, if you guys both just want to share like the top tip, like if you had one thing to share that's like this is like the key to success for people, what would it be?
Communication. Right?
Yeah, communication, yeah. And it's crazy because we used to have a lot of communication.
We had very good communication, just us two.
Uh-huh.
But then once we had the babies, it was kind of more of like, we kind of assumed that we knew what each other was thinking, and that's where a lot of problems started coming up because, you know, I would think like, okay, he knows he should be doing this, but then he doesn't do it. And then I get, oh, you disappeared, girl.
Sorry.
And then, I would get mad, and, you know, it was just a lot of like, I thought you knew how to do this and that, but.
And then I assumed things too, you know.
So it was just, I think communication is really important.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Communication and appreciation.
Yeah, communication, appreciation, and, you know, once in a while, some drinks.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
For sure.
Some drinks, I forgot about that. Yeah, loosen up a little bit. Take time for yourself. That's another one. I mean, 3. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, it's just really important. Yeah, communication, appreciation, and taking time for yourself. Don't feel guilty like me. Take time for yourself. I'm still learning that. So.
Well, thank you so much for both of y'all, you know, for taking the time and even like bringing the babies on for their first live. So maybe they'll do more lives in the future. But I just want to thank y'all so much for being my second duo and then for just being so honest and raw, because I feel like, you know, a lot of people want to make themselves be like the perfect parents, but, you know, no one can be a perfect parent. So I think it's very important. So thank you so much. And yay!